And Danya, reading again from the new filings, you have other men who Greenberg introduced the minor to, quote, engage in commercial sex acts with the minor in Greenberg's presence when the minor was under the age of 18. These are very serious offenses. I would note legally, these type of filings are quite precise. This is not like a tweet. This is not like just people talking. So when you see, as you've been a federal investigator like Joyce yourself, a prosecutor, when you see that reference to, quote, men, that would seem to be explicitly plural, which means means Greenberg plus at least two?
Yeah, I think the factual recitation is very detailed, as you say, and it goes to pains, I think, to make clear that not only is there corroboration, but that there are other targets out there. And as you said, it doesn't only have to be Matt Gaetz. In fact, with respect to some of the other charges, at least, there are other possible co-conspirators that fly off the page. But certainly with respect to the sex trafficking and the sex trafficking of a minor in particular, the filing goes to some lengths to make clear that there were co-conspirators, that Mr. Greenberg was aware of what they did, and in fact had watched some of the sexual contact. So they are giving a little bit of a roadmap, I think, of what we can expect to see in the days or weeks or months to come.
Yeah, and you mentioned the corroboration, which is important regardless of how people may feel about anyone caught up in the investigation. This is about facts and what really happened, not anything else. The New York Times, dealing with the same court documents I mentioned that have made such explosive impact today, says prosecutors revealing they have evidence they say corroborates Greenberg's admissions, exactly what we've been talking about. Quote, a series of communications and transactions Greenberg had with the, quote, girl appeared to design to bolster the credibility of Mr. Greenberg as a witness. Danya, walk us through that, because it would appear from the way Mr. Greenberg has conducted himself that there will be some credibility problems, that he has already said and done things that are misleading, deceitful, untrue. So walk us through what you or your team might do at SDNY in a situation like this, where you're trying to then move past that to figure out what you can prove. They obviously don't want to be on the wrong end of this, only taking his word for it. They're themselves jailing him, the prosecutors, by their own view of him being a very serious felon.
Yeah, as Joyce said, there's an incredible amount of criming that's detailed at length in this filing. And it's not just, sometimes you'll see acts of violence or narcotics trafficking. A lot of these go really squarely to his credibility. In fact, one of the charges, the cyberstalking charge, has him lying about sexual contact by another adult man with another child. And so there's a lot of built-in defenses, or a lot of built-in fodder for cross-examination by, a defense lawyer if and when Mr. Greenberg takes the stand. So, of course, the prosecutors, and they've made this very clear in this filing, have spent a lot of time trying to corroborate this. And luckily, Mr. Greenberg is not just a criminal, but he's a terrible one. Literally left his fingerprints on some documents, literally has receipts, literally wrote out a detailed handwritten confession. So there's going to be a lot there for them. They likely, as Joyce said, they've spent a lot of time. So no doubt before entering into this plea agreement have already done a lot of that hard work, have spoken certainly with lots of witnesses, including, as you brought up, Ari, it seems, this former girlfriend of Mr. Gaetz's, who is seeking, according to the reports, immunity for herself. So she could be a very, very bad witness for Mr. Gaetz should the prosecutors go down that road.